In the world of After Effects, the creative possibilities are endless. But one of the best ways to level up your motion design skills is by continuously adding new techniques to your toolkit. So let's dive in and explore some of the most popular logo animation tricks you can start using right now. The first trick we're going to start with is the liquid effect inside a circle. First, create a new composition with a 30 frame rate. Next, draw a circle and align it to the center of the composition. Now create a rectangle and add 2 position keyframes. Animate it from the bottom to the top, making sure the top position overlaps the circle. Next, go to Effects, Distort, and Turbulent Displace. Set the amount to 100 and the size to 7. Make sure your position keyframes are spaced 2 frames apart for smooth animation. Now from the Track Matte options, select Shape Layer 1. This will make the animation appear inside the circle, completing the effect. Now, click on any empty area to deselect everything. Create another circle, but this time, deselect the fill and choose Stroke. Align it to the center to give the animation a container-like appearance. Next, duplicate the water filling layer and offset it slightly in the timeline. Change the color of the original layer to a lighter shade. This will add depth and give the animation a more realistic look. Next up, we'll create a rain effect. Draw a line using the pen tool and place it on the timeline to match when the filling starts. Then search for the length options and set the end length to 87 and the start length to 54. Next, add the trim paths effect. Set keyframes for the end property from 0 to 100 and for the start property from 0 to 100 as well. Select all the keyframes, ease them by pressing F9, and ensure they're placed in between 2 frames on the timeline for smooth animation. The rain effect might look a bit different, but it's honestly the easiest and maybe the laziest approach. I just duplicated the line layers, placed them like rain inside the circle, and then worked on offsetting the layers for a more dynamic look. Now let's move on to a text animation. First, duplicate the text layer 7 times. We'll be animating them using masks. Use the pen tool to draw a line that overlaps the shape of the letter R. Then add the trim paths effect and set the end property from 0 to 100. Ease the keyframes and adjust the graph editor for smoother acceleration at the start, a quick pace in the middle, and deceleration at the end. Next, bring up the other layer and use the same technique to draw a line over the shape of the letter R. Copy the trim paths effect from the previous layer and paste it onto the new one. Then, choose the matte option, and our text animation is almost ready. Just apply the same technique to the other layers, and the results will definitely satisfy you. Now, let's add those small details. Start by drawing a stroke circle and aligning it to the center, making it larger than the original. Add the trim paths effect, setting the start and end properties from 0 to 100 for each. Check the speed. If you want to slow it down, select all the keyframes, hold Alt, and drag them to delay the animation. Then duplicate the circle once more, make it even bigger, and offset the layers for added depth. Lastly, let's focus on composing and finalizing the animation. This stage is crucial for the reveal. For the final touch, I pre-composed the circle and rain layers and added 2 position keyframes. After easing them, press G for the pen tool and adjust the motion path. Then, I added scale properties. The first keyframe is slightly larger than the original. The second and third are at 100%, the original size. And the last one scales down until it matches the dot over the letter I. Finally, I added opacity keyframes, starting from 0 to 100 for a smooth fade-in effect. And that's it. If you're ready to take your skills to the next level, don't forget to subscribe and keep fueling your creativity. Keep on creating.